You're tuned in to Repco Muscle Garage, the home of New Zealand's toughest muscle cars, hot rods and street machines. Proudly brought to you by Repco, in association with Mount Shop, Maguire's and Rislone. And today we're picking up a few tricks around doing sick donuts with Burnout master Ricky Ireland and his wife Jen. And catching up with one of New Zealand's oldest and most unique hot rod clubs, the Rod Benders. First up, with a little help from Maguire's, we're off to Morrinsville for a private skid day. Doing double duties as an Olympic fundraiser for one of the Burnout community's own.
We like to have a private skid day every now and again. It gives everyone an opportunity to get out in here and have a bit of a practice, work through a few bugs for the cars and stuff like that. It's not just, all the big guns coming out too. We've got people that are here in their rotaries, the V8s, the 6-cylinders. So it's just about everyone coming in together, learning from each other, which is also a big thing. I love to see everyone being able to get out there and have a go with no judgment, because you don't have many places where you can go and just get in the car and take your time to learn how to do a burnout, or even just getting rid of the nerves, because a lot of the time it is the nerves that will get the better of you.
And there's a lot more to a good burnout than just stomping on the gas, dropping the clutch and turning tyres into smoke.
There is a lot to a burnout. The technical side of it is what we're always looking for. It's not just putting your foot down and getting rid of the tyres and all that. There's a lot to do with starting off your burnout and how you're starting it out, which we call instant smoke. It's about your pad usage, your driver's skill, and then of course it does come down to smoke and popping tyres, because that's what the audience or crowds love to see, is the tyres being gone. Flair definitely comes in, for me, flair would be more on your entry into the burnout pad. It's the enjoyment that you also show to the crowd, so hanging out the window, getting the crowd going, getting as close as possible to the edge of a pad or to a wall. So if I see someone that's doing a burnout and they're just like they're sitting there watching TV with a cup of tea, it doesn't show their enjoyment in it. There has to be flair in it, some enjoyment, some love for it.
And if Jen sounds like she takes skids pretty seriously, well, that's for good reason. Jen, with husband Ricky, founded the NZ Burnout Championship Series, giving our passionate burnout community another outlet to strut their stuff and even check out a couple of Aussie legends brought over to show how it's done. The scene across the ditch is massive, big money and big crowds. And it doesn't get much bigger than Canberra's iconic Summer Nats, where Jen now holds a position as one of the judges for Burnout Masters.
I had an opportunity to go over to Willowbank and judge at a comp called Burnout All Stars. The two that were judging with me were actually Summer Nats judges. I learnt so much from them in that one Burnout comp, and then I think from there I got the call up from Adrian from Summer Nats, and he said to me, "Oh, do you want to come and judge Summer Nats?" And I was like, "What? Me?" It was a pretty surreal feeling to go from running NZBC to being involved in the world's best burnout comp, really, over in Australia. And it's a privilege. It's an absolute privilege, and I love it.
And one of those Trans-Tasman excursions proved a great chance to bring home a big green Summer Nat souvenir.
So it was built by Brett Nidri in Australia, B&R Race Engines. Engine built by G&M Motorsport for Rick Fuller. For those that don't know, put a bit of a big deal in the Australian burnout scene, and it won Summer Nats 32 Burnout Master. Obviously Jen's a Summer Nats judge, and I get to hang out with the boys and party while she's working, and was just hanging out with them afterwards and sort of expressed a bit of an interest in wanting to be next in line to own it if it ever came up for sale, and we pretty much struck up a deal right there and then. So and then of course COVID hit, and it was never meant to come home. It was always meant to stay in Australia and us to skid over there, but sort of got to a point where we really wanted to use it. So after 18 months or so of ownership, we decided to ship it back to New Zealand. just really built for one purpose, that's to slay tyres. So it's effectively a stock VE Holden Commodore ute. So it's got stock VE Commodore interior. It's got a VF front grafted onto it, which is a nicer front, in my opinion. I do love the look of it. It's an LSA, it's fully built LSA strokes and running on methanol with a 671 Fisher blower. Electronic injection, which we're sort of getting our head around a little bit, which seems so far to be nice and easy. And then just your 2-speed power glide, built power glide with a 9-inch diff, and I don't even know what ratio is in the back of it, to be fair. Tubbed obviously to keep that panel damage to a minimum at the rear, so yeah, and that's basically it. Yeah, it's very, very basic, very easy to maintain and very simple.
Seems the islands have a bit of a thing for blown green Holden utes. The full-on Commodore takes over tyre destruction duties from Percy, an earlier HZ. But on the pad, the modern VE is a different animal entirely.
They are absolutely chalk and cheese. It was what was known as the H series curse, is what I like to call it, and you do notice it a lot where you've really got to fight with them to get them around the pad. And this thing, absolutely chalk and cheese. This has got electric power steering and the thing drives like an AU Falcon with 900 horsepower, basically. It will go where you want it. It is so easy and comfortable to drive. It's really nice.
So nice to drive, in fact, that Ricky found himself in the passenger side for most of this skid day. A bit of an island family day out with the kids getting behind the VE's wheel for the first time. And they weren't exactly easing into it. But did you really expect any different?
I love what we do so much, and I even made the comment to my wife this morning when we were on our way here, and I was like, why aren't we having brunch on a Sunday with like normal people our age? But our whole family's involved. It's just, yeah, it's really just the family stuff. Win, lose or draw, whether we've got the car or we haven't, or go rods out in the first 30 seconds, it doesn't matter, we're just here and we're just enjoying it. So yeah, it's pretty much just what it means for us. We just love it. We're bogans at heart, so we're never going to change, I don't think. So if I don't grow up by the time I'm 50, I don't have to. So that's what I'm hanging out for.
The advanced protection of hybrid ceramic.
Whoa.
Now in 3 easy-to-use products. In original spray wax, now as a liquid wax, and a spray detailer. Meguiar's hybrid ceramic family with advanced SiO2 technology. Meguiar's, ceramic made easy.
Rizlone has been in engines almost as long as engines have been in cars. Why? Because from then until now, there's never been a perfectly clean fuel. This means every time you fill up, you're adding pollutants and contaminants to your fuel system. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner can cure those woes and help save your engine. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner adds an upper cylinder lubricant, providing double the cleaning power out of the same bottle. We know something about aging well, so when we say it's your engine's fountain of youth under a screw top, you can count on it. Rizlone is the original engine tune-up. Available at participating stores near you.
Welcome back to Repco Muscle Garage. Now, in association with our mates at the Mount Shop, we're heading down to Christchurch to meet a very special hot rod club, the Rod Benders. This unique, iconic, fun-loving and family-friendly club has been a fixture of the scene for over 3 generations. And after all those years, they're still going strong. In fact, it'd be fair to say they're going stronger than ever, based on the incredible turnout that greeted us as they got ready to set out on a Saturday morning club run. A spectacle which turned more than a few heads outside their club rooms in Hornby. And this was the perfect opportunity to talk to them, because the club is on the cusp of a pretty significant anniversary.
Rod Benders, we're 57 members. So we're a pre-49 All-American hot rod club. So that keeps our numbers down a wee bit because we're sort of not open to a broad spectrum, but that's how you get this sort of genre of sort of car. The club rooms here were put up in 1986.
Rod Benders is the oldest still running club in New Zealand. It wasn't the first, of course, but it's still going strong.
Every walk of life, you've got mechanics, we've got electricians, we've got plumbers, we've got, you name it, just general people but love cars and love 349s.
It's been going since '57. It's had a lot of families, you know, some second generation people through. But they're just a good bunch of guys that turn up and they're all into pre-49s.
It's a very encouraging club and you have everyone that you can talk to and learn stuff off. And everyone's more than happy to chat to you and encourage you in your own build.
Anyone can join as long as you have a pre-49 or building a pre-49 All-American hot rod. Come along to 3 meetings and see if it's sort of you, and then we vote you in.
Take one look around the Waterloo Road headquarters, their second club room after the first one was burnt down, and you'll see this is a club with a richly storied history. Many a coupe, roadster, sedan, sea cab or T-bucket, alongside all sorts of other amazing machines, have passed through its ranks over the years. And based on all the incredible trophies, prizes, photos and paraphernalia around, it's clear that the club's caught the attention of plenty of people over the years. From car show judges through to local celebrities like Max Merritt, who hooked up some help from the Rod Benders to create this iconic album cover back in the day. So, where did it all start? And who started it?
14th of July, Thursday, 1957 was when the club started. I was having a milkshake in Moore's Milk Bar. 28 roads to port up outside, red with no bonnet and no front mudguards, and I fell in love with it. Do you want to swap it for the motorbike? Yep, thanks. Went home in it, just like that. 29 coupe pulls up outside, no bonnet, no front mudguards, Malcolm Wilson, with Rod Benders painted on it. And he said, why don't we form a club? And the club was established and I found myself as president. And the rest is history.
Now the club is entering its 65th anniversary. That makes it the longest running in the South Island and potentially the Southern Hemisphere too. It's an amazing achievement to have gotten this far, something that club founders Taff Matthey and Dave Gallagher would never have dreamed of. According to Dave's son, at least.
No, I don't think he would have imagined that the club would be still going and as strong as it is today. It's part of me. I've got it tattooed on my arm. This doesn't stop. This is going to continue to carry on.
NZHRA was founded in 1961, and we didn't join NZHRA until about 1969. So we're not the oldest NZHRA club, but we're the oldest hot rod club in the Southern Hemisphere, which is pretty unique in itself.
Phone rings, president of the Rod Benders said, we're having the 40th anniversary, do you want to come? I thought, yeah, that'd be fun, so I turned up. It was great fun. Phone rings again, it says, here, we're having the 50th anniversary. Then you just had the 40th. They said, no, that was 9.5 years ago. Oh my God, time flies. Damn proud of these guys. Couldn't have possibly dreamed it was going to happen. A bit of an emotional thing because, you know, I think they're quite pleased that we started the club where we did. And it's gone from strength to strength. It's marvellous.
Obviously, there's an incredible array of vehicles on display within the club's ranks. And when they're all collected together, the club's car park is transformed into something somewhere between a treasure trove and a time capsule of pre-49 classics. One theme that emerges when you talk to the owners is that many of the cars are kept within the club's community, often passed down between family members over the years as the bug bites one generation of rod benders after another.
I've got a 1932 Ford Roadster. I'm probably very fortunate and very lucky that I inherited it from my father, and we've had it since I was 3 years old. But it didn't look like it does now, so I've built it twice.
This is a 28 Model A Tudor. I built this back in '78, so she's been on the road 44 years. I joined Rod Benders back in the early '70s. I started off with a T-bucket, then a jail bar truck in late '70s. We put this on the road and yeah, I've just had a real good time with it. When our children come along, they've all been brought home from the nursing home or from the hospital, you know, in the car. And then they've sort of carried on, you know, Geraldine's now into cars as well, so yeah, we've gone from there.
So I've been on many trips with this car since I grew up. We remember as kids we'd sit in the back seat, it was pretty comfy, and have our pillows there to have a nap. So I'm building a 28 Model A Roadster with the motor that Dad had in his first truck when he was 16, so he wouldn't let me drive anything else, to be honest. No, I'm joking.
We were fortunate and lucky enough to have hot rodding in my childhood, and we went all over this country from one end to the other in the back of the car, which is one in the corner. A 1934 Ford Victoria that he got from New Brighton, and the guy said it's the ugliest thing they ever seen. So Dad took it home, put a new floor in it, built it up, and we went to Taupo in 1973 to the Street Rod Nationals, and he got best closed car. And the memories like that, you know, that's what sticks with me.
I've got a Model A, 1929 Model A two-door that I run at the moment, plus I've got a fleet in the garage that I'm working on or trying to restore anyway.
You don't have to have the flashiest, the hottest, the loudest, the fastest car. You just got your car. They're all different. Not a single one of them is the same. There's 32 Roadsters, 32 Coupes, there's T-buckets, you name it, they're all out there. They're all different.
One thing that is noticeable this day and age, the higher standard of cars. When I first joined, a friend of mine brought this 34 Coupe and it needed two people to drive. One to steer it, it had no floorboards, just rubber mats over the chassis, and the other person to work the handbrake, which was the only brake on the car. You certainly wouldn't get away with that nowadays.
We've got cars that win sweepstake events. We've got cars that don't get pulled out at all, like once a year maybe, you know.
A lot of the cars stay in the club. So, for example, I got the opportunity to buy that 1926 Ford C-Cab. I've just recently sold it back to the same club member, so that car stays in the club. And it's like that with a lot of cars in this club. They come up for sale, so it's always word of mouth in the club, then a club member will buy it, and then it stays in the club. I think that's awesome.
So, after 65 years and counting, there's plenty of miles on the club's clock. But the Rod Benders club base is still thriving. And despite being surrounded by history, the club is very much focused on continuing to grow the Rod Benders family as they head into the future.
It's good seeing younger members coming through. And like I say, you don't have to have the flashiest $100,000, $200,000 car. I mean, you can get, like, T-buckets are fairly entry-level sort of cars, you know, and some young people think that like hot rodding is a mega expensive sport, but I think sometimes they spend just about as much money on the Japanese cars as what we do probably on our hot rods, you know, so.
We want to get our kids involved. We want to get them so that they can enjoy our cars, you know, enjoy cars themselves.
I've got a little 3-year-old who comes out with me and likes seeing the hot rods, so you've got to like bring them up through that. So yeah, I think like it's a good positive vibe.
Yeah, we've got a big range of ages in our club now, and there's a lot of new people that wouldn't have even known the older members, you know, but they're sort of learning as time's gone on.
I'm interested in the car scene, having grown up in it, and now I'm building one with my dad, so it's quite fun to be a part of like-minded people, and there's other young members coming through as well, so it's quite exciting to see what the future will have for those people. It's awesome to be part of a club that has some family history. It's in the blood, you could say.
A few second-generation hot rodders and rod benders. It's something that flows through. My youngest daughter, I think she's going to be a hot rodder as well. She's starting to show the old tendency. She wants to build a roadster, a hot rod roadster, so you feel proud that it's going to follow on.
Congratulations then to this amazing club as they bring up a very special milestone, a feat that one of the founders is pretty blown away by.
Oh, completely awestruck. I couldn't have imagined anything like this. This is the type of thing that we would have loved to have had, but thought it would never ever happen. It only happens in America. But I'm proud of these guys, and it's nice to come here once a month when the bar's open.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week for more of the meanest muscle cars, hot rods and street machines on Repco Muscle Garage. Feel like your car could do with some TLC? No worries, we've got every base covered because we could be hooking you up with an incredible prize pack thanks to our sponsors. For a start, there's this massive Maguire's and Rislone Complete Car Care Pack valued at over $760. We've also thrown in this handy 85-piece Repco toolkit valued at $672. To stay on top of everything underneath, there's a $500 mount shop voucher. And last but not least, you'll also score a year's subscription to NZV8 magazine. That's a total prize pool of nearly $2,000. To enter, just head over to themotorhood.com and hit the Repco Muscle Garage link on the homepage. The winner will be drawn at the end of the series, so make sure you get amongst, because this prize pack is one major haul. Good luck. Repco Muscle Garage was proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. Mount Shop Undercar Specialists. Maguire's, people who love cars love Maguire's. And Rislone, high performance additives for high performance vehicles.